Check one, two. Testing audio. Check one, two.
right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Committee of Council meeting here at the City of Brampton on May the 7th. As we begin today's meeting, we would like to acknowledge that we are gathering here today on the treaty territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, and before them the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee, Huron, and Wendat. We also acknowledge the many First Nation, Métis, Inuit, and other global Indigenous people that now call Brampton their own home. We are honored to live, work on, and enjoy this land. And just because we have a very captive audience today, I just want to acknowledge that on Monday was the day of recognition for missing and murdered Indigenous women and children. And as part of the land acknowledgement today, you'll notice outside of City Hall, we have red dresses outside hanging on the various trees to signify and reflect on all the missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls throughout our country. And if you could take a moment when you leave today to reflect on that as well. Welcome again to our Committee of Council meeting. All members are present today, I believe. Madam Clerk, anyone joining us online?
Through Chair, Councillor Tour and Councillor Fortini are with us online.
Wonderful. So everyone is present with Councillor Tour, Councillor Fortini joining us online. The next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. Madam Clerk, if I may, turn it over to you to summarize some of the things that have been added.
Through you, Chair, the following revisions have been published. 6.1, under possible delegations regarding the mobile licensing bylaw. The first delegation, Harmanpreet Kaur, owner-operator, and 2, Karen Devgan, Aarondeep Singh, Shika Sharma, Manmeet Singh, and Athira Vanoma Padath, have been added and updated. 6.3, the delegation from the library has withdrawn for this agenda. 6.5, the delegation from Anmal Pharma, Partner Golf, Almighty Indoor Golf and Sports Bar has been withdrawn. The staff update, government relations matters, the presentation has been added. 9.4.1, correspondence has been added. And 11.3.1, the minutes of the Brampton Women's Advisory Committee, the minutes have been added.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Do any members wish to add anything to the agenda? Councillor Keenan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to add an announcement for the U15A Brampton Candidates hockey team.
Yeah. Happy to support that. And any other members wish to add anything? If not, I would like to defer the discussion item under government relations related to encampment protocol and funding. I'd like to defer that to Committee of Council May 21st. Okay. No other additions to the agenda. Councillor Keenan, we have a motion from Councillor Keenan to approve the agenda as amended. All in favor? Anyone opposed? That carries. Next is declarations of interest under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. Do any members have any pecuniary interests to declare under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act regarding any matters to be discussed on today's agenda? Seeing none, the clerk will so note. This now takes us to consent. Committee, as part of our consent motion process, the clerk, or I will read each agenda item that is subject to the consent motion, and any member may verbally identify the item to be held for debate during the meeting. Any item not held for debate will be considered as part of the consent motion and voted on for approval. Item 7.1, staff update government relations. Held by Councillor Paleshi. 9.2.1 is being held because of delegations. 9.2.2, held for delegations. 9.4.1, correspondence from Downtown Food District regarding 9.2.1 new mobile licensing bylaw. That is in consent. 11.3.1, minutes, Brampton Women's Advisory Committee, April 17, 2025, in consent. And 13, referred matters list, which is published on the city website quarterly. Any members wish to hold, in consent. And 15.1, closed session report, information update on concessions. We have to hold that actually for direction from council. So the closed session item will be held. Thank you, Councillor Paleshi. The clerk will now summarize those items to be included on the consent motion for approval.
Through you, Chair, the following items are included in the consent motion. 9.4.1, correspondence from Downtown Brampton Food District regarding the new mobile licensing bylaw report. 11.3.1, minutes, Brampton Women's Advisory Committee. And 13, referred matters list.
I have a motion moved by Deputy Mayor Singh to approve the consent motion. All in favor? Any opposed? That carries. The next item we have is announcements. Item 5.1, announcement, Ontario Women's Hockey Association Provincial Champions, Ontario Women's Hockey League, Southern League Champions, Ontario Women's Hockey League, Central Division Champions, and our sponsor is Councillor Keenan. Champions.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, on behalf of City Council, it's my pleasure to recognize and congratulate the U15A Brampton Candidates hockey team on their unbelievably successful 2024 and 2025 season, ending with the ultimate reward of being crowned not only the OWHL League champions, but the OWHA Provincial champions. What an incredible feat this is for this amazing team of young women. I know firsthand, I've watched a few of your games, given my 2 daughters are also candidates on younger teams. I can attest to your amazing coach, who does also coach one of my daughters. So this team was made up of 16 players. Some are longtime hockey friends, some also playing softball together. 5 coaches, 1 team manager, a treasurer, and an amazing fan base, which are also the great parents that do everything inside and out to get your kids to hockey, so thank you for that. I'm going to give you some highlights from their season. They played in 4 tournaments this season, and they landed on the podium in all 4, with 1 bronze, 2 silver, and 1 gold medal finish. At the end of the regular season, this team had 2 difficult but equally difficult tournaments to compete in: the OWHL League Champions Championship and the OWHA Provincial Championship. The girls were finding their stride as they entered the league championship, which was an elimination series that they dominated by winning 3-team home and home series. One of these series games was against the number 1 ranked team in the province, North Bay. With a win and a tie in the semifinals, the girls earned their spot in the Southern League Championship game versus Kitchener, and these amazing women won the game 4-1. With confidence in hand and having already won the regional qualifier to participate in the weekend elimination tournament for the OWHA Provincial Championship, the girls went in it to win it. The team went on to with an amazing run of a 6-0 record throughout the weekend with 5 shutouts. Well done, goalies. To earn their spot in the championship game, the final was played against the Blue Water Hawks, where the girls ended up winning the OWHA Provincial Championship with a score of 2-0. This capped off an incredible season where the team gained confidence and self-belief in what was possible, an extraordinary ending to an extraordinary year. I want to say a huge congratulations to the players on an amazing season, as well to your coaching staff. This is a once-in-a-lifetime, some would say. You guys have accomplished things that some teams may never be able to accomplish. So thank you for not only what you do on the ice, but off the ice. And well done to you for being, people that the younger girls look up to. And obviously I said that my daughter, Tenley, talks about this team quite a bit. So thank you guys so much for that. I give a shout out to your head coach, Chris French, Pierre, Matt, and Kim, and Carrie, your assistant coaches. And we always say, the backbone of the team, which is your team manager, Melissa, and your treasurer, Jean. So I just want to say thank you so much. And if we could have council just take a quick picture with the players, I would appreciate it. Thank you so much, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Keenan. I do have Councillor Medeiros on the board as well for congratulations. And Chris French, are you here, Chris? Okay, I have on here that you're saying a few words as well, but we'll have Councillor Medeiros go first, followed by Chris, and then we'll take the photo.
Just very quick, thank you, Councillor Keenan, for bringing this. It's funny because I know there's some residents from Wards 3 who I've sponsored this team for a couple of years through my council sponsorship. So it's great that at least I bet on a winning horse, and I'm so happy, and thank you very much for your contribution representing Brampton. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Medeiros. So, Chris, if you want to make your way down and just as Chair of Community Services, Vice Chair and I, Councillor Brar, the women on council, we are so proud of all of you, young women, in what you're doing, and we really hope that your energy inspires the Leafs tonight. Chris, over to you.
Good morning, Mayor, councillors, other staff, and all the attendees today. First of all, thank you for having us here today. Our girls are really excited. They were talking about this for the last week and a half, so they're really excited today. And just thank you for your continued support. There are some individuals here who do come to a lot of events, our banquets, our meetings, our games, our tournaments. So thank you for that, and just contributing to empowering our women athletes and having them be able to achieve these things. So thank you. I'm not going to take a lot of your time, but just quickly to talk about a bit of background here. Councillor Keenan did speak to the successes, but just so everyone's aware, the way it works is they played a 22-game regular season, which they finished first place in their division, being Central champions. Then the Southern League playoff championship. Again, there's 60 teams that are playing, and there's 6 divisions. They swept their division, won both series clean, shutouts, which then put them in the final series against 2 of the other top division winners, North Bay and Peterborough. North Bay being number 1 in the province. They went there, stole a win at home in North Bay, came home, got a tie, and then knocked off Peterborough, which then sent them to the Grand Championship against Kitchener. And again, 60 teams, and then Kitchener and Brampton met in the final, which they dominated. They won 4-1. So that was the start, and they started to really get their confidence. So they had already qualified for provincials, which is they played 6 games to get there. They qualified. And then they went to the provincial tournament, which again is 60 teams that qualify. Only 32 teams make it to the weekend. They came out of their round robin undefeated, giving up no goals, and then went to the quarterfinals, playing the number 2 ranked team Sudbury, knocked them off, and then went to the semifinals, and then obviously winning the championship with a 2-0 win. So there's a lot of hockey. It is a huge achievement when you look at the kind of the path to get there. But I just want to say, very proud of these girls. And I'm choking up because it's been a long year. Sorry. As Councillor Keenan said, I do coach 2 teams, so I put a lot of time in. And to see where they've come from, and to see what, like, the U11 group we have now and their path, it's what they're looking up to, like Councillor said. So I'm really proud of you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. And how many of you are proud of your coach? Yeah. All right, let's take that group photo if you want to make your way down, and we'll take a beautiful group photo. Congratulations. All right, that was awesome. Next item is public delegations. And if I may, as chair, because we have some high school students who are in the room today from Central Peel, where I represent, I'm assuming many of you have to get back to school.
Relax.
So we're going to do your delegation first, which is delegation number 6.2. And we have, under 6.2, delegation from Central Peel NASA Club regarding being award winners. Wow, like all of our high school kids in Brampton are champions this morning. And we have a few delegations to share this beautiful news. First person is Simona Matai, Head of Mathematics Space Club Advisor, Central Peel Secondary School. Simona, welcome.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. I'm Simona Matei. I'm a math teacher at Central Peel Secondary School, and I am the advisor for our Space NASA Club. Why are we today here? I have some good news and some bad news to share with you. Which one would you like me to start with? I would start with the bad news. I think we are in agreement that we live in a world full of problems. I think there is no doubt about that. But let me bring the good news in. Here I am today with some enthusiastic young men and women who are willing and capable of tackling these problems. They are students at Central Peel Secondary School, and they are among award winners from our school. Let me go back for a second and tell you what we are doing as part of this space club. Every year at Central Peel, we take part in two international contests that were founded by NASA and now are run by National Space Society. One of the contests is designing a space settlement. So I want you to imagine the International Space Center, but sustainable, fully sustainable, and far, far away. In addition to that, what we do, a second contest that we take part is we find ways to live healthily on these space settlements. These are very popular contests in the world. Between the two contests, there are 35,000 students participating. And guess what? Students at Central Peel, 70 students at Central Peel are among the winners of these two contests. They are the only students in Ontario. They are the only students in Canada representing us at this contest. So this is big deal. There are students from almost 30 countries attending. Now, what's next for these students? They will be attending the International Space Development Conference in Florida at the end of June. So I'm hoping you can wish them good luck. And I also hope that we can give all of them a round of applause. And I will introduce to you here two of these amazing young students. The first one is Gurnor. We have here Gurnor and Gurmat. They are the first prize winner and the grand prize winner at this space settlement contest. So Gurnor, there you go.
Thank you so much. And just so that folks know, so that I have you, Simona, as one delegation for 5 minutes.
Yes.
And then I have Gurnor for 5 minutes and Gurmat for 5 minutes. The clock is over here.
Okay.
So we'll now pass it over to Gurnor. First prize winner, go ahead.
Hello everyone, my name is Gurnor Kaur and I'm the first prize winner for the grade 10 individual category of the NSS Gerald K. O'Neill Space Settlement Contest, and I'm so excited to share my project, the Serial Shopper Stop, or the CSS. a futuristic space settlement designed to orbit the dwarf planet Ceres. So what is CSS all about? The mission of CSS is to build a self-sustaining space settlement, one that excels in space research and provides food, fuel, tools and parts, and long-term healthcare in space. But the vision is even bigger. The CSS is envisioned to be a kind of pit stop for future missions to Jupiter, Saturn, or even further. It is not just a place to live. It is a launch pad for human expansion into the rest of the solar system. Using technologies like artificial gravity, ion propulsion, and advanced manufacturing, CSS makes deep space exploration truly possible. The settlement includes systems like aeroponic and hydroponic farming systems, a 3D printing-based manufacturing hub, and fuel made from local water ice. With all of these systems working together, CSS brings us one step closer to making deep space not just reachable, but truly livable as well. I'll pass it over to Grandma.
Well, thank you, Gurnur, and thank you, Council, for giving me a chance to speak here. I'm going to be sharing a Chacosac, the grand prize winning project for the Living in a Healthy Space Settlement competition, and my group's submission. What we designed was a self-sustaining, agricultural-based system for space, but what actually set us apart and won us the grand prize was its indigenous background and roots. As students from Brampton, a place shaped by deep cultural diversity and indigenous background, we were inspired by practices such as the Three Sisters method, where corn, beans, and squash are all grown together, and it taught us exactly how balance and interdependence can truly make a resilient ecosystem. And then going from there, we learned and applied it to our space settlement using aeroponics and bioreactors to build a closed-loop system where nothing is wasted and everything is recycled. And this blend of traditional wisdom and modern technology helped us win and just proved exactly how timeless the lessons from history truly are. But now we're here, seeking mentors in engineering, agriculture, environmental sciences, and anything else that you guys would be willing to provide. If you're interested in supporting passionate young innovators in any way possible, please don't hesitate to reach out to our teacher, Ms. Simona Mate. Thank you for your time.
All right. Simona, final words? You want to take a picture with them?
Having us, and I was wondering if we can have a picture as well.
Absolutely. From sports to space.
What could be?
Our high school
It's your
students are
lucky
doing
day.
an incredible job in the city of Brampton. We're all very proud of you. And you all know about MDA in the city of Brampton as well, and space technology in Brampton. I can't wait to see many of you win more awards, but invent the next greatest innovation next to the Canada arm. And just don't forget about us when you're all rich and famous. Councillor Tour.
Thank you, through you, Madam Chair. Want to say welcome to this entire team. You guys look super professional, definitely look like space engineers. Thank you for coming to City Hall today. When the teacher mentioned there's some bad news, I thought maybe Donald Trump has new tariffs for the space industry, but if that's not the case, I think we're in good hands. Over the last few weeks, there has been some great events, especially in the space sector. We had the Moonshot, the second event of Moonshot happening at Canada headquarters. I know a lot of the students from different Peel schools participated in that as well. Council Power reminds me this past weekend there was Brampton Tech Talks happening at the Springdale Library, and there were some students that were building rockets and competing in the States in various competitions. There's no shortage of talent. I know we talk about Peel schools, but I think more importantly it's students from Brampton that are leading the way in this. Councillor Santos mentioned as well, the presence of somebody like MDA, headquartered right here in Brampton, having the largest space contract right now. The one thing we hear from them is they still have a shortage of high-skilled space engineers, people in that space tech, and we're hoping that you folk will be the ones that graduate from schools and universities, and your technology will be the one that we see in outer space there. I also want to mention that The Economic Development Office is a proud sponsor of this team as well, and we hope that we will continue to support you as you grow and compete in future events. Just the magnitude of how many students that you said compete from across the world, but to have 70 of the best right here from Brampton, I think that's amazing. That's a testament to all the work you put in, but also your amazing teachers. So thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for putting Brampton on the map, not just globally here, but across the space, and we would be happy to take a picture with you. Thank you.
Thanks so much. All right. So as the students are clearing the room, just very quickly, just wanted to acknowledge the Collaborative Learning Technology Center located at Central Peel, which is very specifically there as a partnership with the region of Peel District School Board and the City of Brampton to support young people in STEM and STEAM. We're very happy to have that there. Okay, next item on the agenda, we have 6.1, which are delegations regarding the mobile licensing bylaw. Madam Clerk, we have a number of delegations that were put forward as part of the agenda. Harmanpreet Kaur, owner-operator of 166983661 Canada Inc., as well as Karan Devgan, Arandeep Singh, Shikha Sharma, Manmeet Singh, and Athira Vanompadath, who are food truck owners. Are there any other delegations that are coming forward on this item?
Through you, Chair.
Just one delegation.
We have two delegations that you've listed, and I haven't received any requests for delegations since we've been
So those two delegations are next. May we please have Harmanpreet Kaur, owner-operator 166983661 Canada Inc. If you are online or in person, please come forward. And in the meantime, I believe we also have visitors from the Philippines here, from Quezon City, as part of a delegation that came to Brampton earlier this week. And if you are here or online, welcome. Okay, Harmanpreet Kaur. Okay, Harmanpreet Kaur, this is about the delegation related to the mobile licensing bylaw. And as per all delegations, as I mentioned earlier, you have up to 5 minutes, and the clock is just above my left-hand shoulder. Harmanpreet, welcome.
Thank you so much. This is my first time. I'm a bit nervous. I'm going to try my best. All right, good morning, everybody. This is Harmanpreet Kaur. I'm a 29-year-old resident and the first-time small business owner. I'm here today to ask for a fairness, clarity, and for your support. In January 2025, I invested over $75,000 plus HST to purchase a fully licensed Class C refreshment vehicle, a stationary food trailer, which is located at 499 Main Street South in front of a Canadian Tire. Since then, I have paid $2,000 rent over the Canadian Tire, but I have not been allowed to open, even though I have been followed every rule. Yet I have been spent over 4 months going back and forth from one department to other department. They're going back and forth from zoning all the way to the licensing department without a clear resolution, and had made no income during this time. This trailer has operated in the exact same location for over 12 plus years, almost 2 decades. The trailer's setup, structure, and site plan have all remained same. The only difference is the ownership. The previous owner, Fazil Islami, run it without ever needing any variance, but now I have been clarified that I need a minor variance, which will be costing me more than $15,000. Canadian Tire Management has confirmed that food trailers have operated at this exact location since at least 2001, including similar setups from other Brampton Canadian Tires like Trinity Mall, Queen Street, and Main Street. I'm fully licensed and compliant. I pass all inspection from TSSA, Fire, Peel Health, and have full insurance. My trailer is on a Canadian Tire's property, not on any public or plaza parking. Canadian Tire provide me a water, electricity, and a washroom access. I'm located with the primary major transit area right now, but I meet the 50-meter rule as there is no nearby food establishment with 50-meter area. The new bylaw changes haven't affected yet, but I'm asking council to recognize my trailer as grandfather in under existing use, grant immediate permission to operate my food trailer. This business is my dream. I have put all my savings of 5 years and my heart into it all times. 4 months without incoming while paying rent, insurance, and everything have caused severe financial and emotional hardship. In the end, I would like to say, please support a young local women entrepreneur who's trying to do everything right. I'm not asking for any exceptions. I'm just asking for the same treatment, fairness, and the opportunity that has been given to the previous operators. If the committee allows, I have been bought printed copies of all the supporting documents, which I am happy to provide the committees to review.
Thank you so much, Harmanpreet.
Thank you so much for all of your valuable time. I really appreciate that for having me over here.
You did a great job.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I have all the papers if you need it.
Do any members have any questions for the delegation?
Thank you so much.
Seeing none,
This will be 3 copies.
motion from Councillor Power to receive the delegation. All in favor? Any opposed? That carries. The next delegation, thank you so
Thank
much, is a group of people, food truck owners, Karan Devgan, Arandeep Singh, Shikha Sharma, Manmeet Singh, Athira Vanopada. If you are here, if you could please come down. And you have a total of 5 minutes, and the clock is just behind my left-hand shoulder. Please go ahead.
Hey Council, I hope everyone is doing well. So we as the food truck owners of Brampton, we have been operating in the business since last 1 year. That's specifically for us, but we have like other people in the group who have been working in the food truck business from like past 2 and 3 years. So they have been in the city, and then the laws that have changed recently, it is impacting them financially, plus the changes in the rules and regulations. It is very concerning for them to predict a future of how food trucks will work in the city of Brampton. So we have recently got an email update from city which states that there will be certain changes in the rule, and the biggest concern what we have seen in that email is the 50-meter guidelines which the city has imposed of food trucks being parked next to each other, or any other food establishments within the plaza. So I do have a list of pointers which the food truck team would like to propose, and which we have concerns about, and then we would like the city to get to go over them and then provide us the best possible resolution. So
Thank you, Council. It's a very sad time due to tariffs going on and economy being down that we're seeing council or the city trying to put out of at least 70 food trucks out of business. With these 70 trucks, there's about 100 to 150 families that are dependent on these. We're not here to argue about any of the bylaws that you guys think is good for the city. We respect your decision. We just have some concerns about the way it's being done and how it should be done. We just have some proposal and some suggestions for you guys, right? We're going to start with how these changes came into effect or who proposed and why these were proposed. Digging some information, I heard that there were some complaints from the plaza owners or from restaurants there are so many food trucks. City issued the permits. These guys paid the fees, and everybody's compliant. So I think that shouldn't be a question why there are so many food trucks when city is the one that got the money, issued the food licenses. All right? So that's one point. Second point is, from my experience living in Brampton for so long, anytime there's a bylaw change, there's a consultation with the community, or at least a business or a part of business that's affected by the bylaw changes. If there were taxi drivers, there was supposed to be a bylaw change for this, you guys consulted with them. I think there should have been a consultation with the food truck owners. If you guys made the efforts, you guys meaning, I'm just talking about a city in general, if the city inspector made a decision or made efforts to serve them the notices that there's going to be a bylaw change, they could have also served the notice saying there's going to be a consultation on how do you want the new bylaws to be in the future. So there's some other things that I don't think we'll be able to cover in 5 minutes, but if we could get maybe 5 more minutes, that would be amazing. Since Harman didn't take her entire 5 minutes, but that's all up to you guys. The only thing that we want, or the food truckers want, is that let's grandfather all the food trucks as is. They are compliant. They have permits. They have food handlers license. Wherever they're located, they're zoned. So if there's any illegal food truck parked anywhere, you can take actions against them. If there is any complaints against one food truck, take actions against them. Don't penalize all the other food trucks that are compliant. This is going to affect the future. How? If there's 70 trucks, everyone invested $100K, there's $7 million invested in the city of Brampton. This is not city of Brampton, this is not city of Mississauga, this is Brampton. So they're contributing towards the economy of Brampton. There's owners, there's families, there's kids, there's food drivers, Uber drivers, there's DoorDash drivers. So it's more than just city trying to put out of business 70 food trucks or 100 food trucks. It's about 100 families. I have got calls from families whose dad passed away and mother and the older son are trying to work the food truck so that their younger brother could go to college. I have a food truck owner here whose dad passed away last summer, and he's trying to meet the ends for his mother and his sister.
Sorry, we're out of time.
Can I request 5 more minutes? Please?
Sorry, thank you. So we're not going to give the extra time because Deputy Mayor is going to recommend something anyway. So.
Sure, thank you.
Okay, thank you for coming in to delegate. This has been an issue, especially in certain areas more than others. And so this policy was specifically to address some of the issues that have been occurring, for example, in the downtown area, and I think this is expanded in scope. I know many of us know many of the families you're referring to as well, and that wasn't fully the intention. So what we're going to do, and you can have an opportunity to give your feedback to staff specifically, we're going to refer it for a week. His council is here to listen, and so, but it is a balancing act. And,
of course.
There are issues, as we all know and we've heard, but you are also an important stakeholder. So we're going to refer it for a week. We're going to refer it back to staff.
Yeah,
Yes,
refer.
yeah. Exactly. And if I could ask in that referral, I see our staff from Bylaw just to consult some of the counselors, especially the downtown ones, as they have some certain input that they would like to make, and maybe just touch base with the group. I think you have a document you can submit as well, some of your points in there.
Sure.
So I don't want you to think we're just ending it here. We're gonna actually work with staff, work together, and come with a solution that works for everybody, because there are
sounds
real
fair.
concerns, but we understand your concerns as well.
So before you guys finalize the bylaws, would there be another consultation after referring to the city? Or are they
Yes,
gonna, they're gonna reach out?
it'll have to come back to council, so that's one way to consult, and then we will informally also, you can reach out to me and we'll
Sounds fair,
coordinate that.
yeah.
In addition to the downtown councilors who have their concerns, issues as well, okay?
Yeah.
So we'll try to get everybody's opinion.
Sounds good.
It won't be 100% what everybody wants, as you know, that's right, but we'll work together.
Everybody as the food truck owners, they're ready to meet in the middle somewhere.
Yeah.
And then, again, like, as part of, as Brampton resident, we don't want any nuisance in the community, right? There's truck owners playing loud music. There's cars parked, they're disturbing the local residents. Find them.
Perfect. If that's
Take
your
actions on whoever you want to take.
Yeah, and if that's your mindset, I think we'll all be able to work together. So I'll put the referral on.
Thank you. So there's a referral of the delegations back to council next week, as well as bringing forward the report and a referral of the report and its recommendations back to staff to bring back to council next week as well. Next, we have Councillor Paleshi.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm speaking to the referral. I'm no longer speaking. I don't need to speak to the delegations.
That's fine. We're done with the delegations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Having a hard time, I'm struggling with supporting the referral. I think that staff have done an amazing job working with the food truck and industry and come up with something that I thought we were all getting behind. I understand that there's continues to be issues, but for every one food truck, I'll give you 10 restaurants that also are in the city of Brampton. One of the delegations used to actually own a restaurant, no longer, and now has food trucks. So I think we have to look at this from everybody, all people that are being impacted, and specifically when this first came up for me, and I'm not the one that initiated or started anything, but it was restaurants that were making the complaints. So I think for sure, if we're going to send this back, then we need to hear from everybody. And if that's what we're going to do, if that's the instruction to staff, is to also get feedback from the restaurants to see what they have to say about and how it impacts their business as well. If you're going to add that to it, then I'll support the referral. If not, then I don't think there's a need for it. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Deputy Mayor?
So a referral, I just say stakeholder, so food trucks would be one stakeholder, and restaurants, and restaurants, obviously, and then councilors as well. I think it's important to hear from the downtown council. Thank you.
Okay, so the referral does include stakeholders, which includes restaurants, surrounding restaurants where food trucks operate as well. Motion from Deputy Mayor Singh. All in favor? Anyone opposed? That carries. Thank you very much for coming in today. The next delegation is 6.4, a delegation from Tiffany DeCoito, founder and director, Breaking Borders Sports, regarding a request for sponsorship support for Breaking Borders Youth Baseball Tournament. Tiffany, are you here in the gallery? There you are. Hi, Tiffany. We'll give folks a minute to exit the chamber. Okay, Tiffany, welcome. You have up to 5 minutes for your delegation.
Okay, thank you. Hi, everyone. Okay. My name is Tiffany DeCoito, and I'm a proud Brampton native, homeowner, mother, co-founder of Breaking Borders Sports, a youth baseball organization born right here in the city. I was raised in Brampton. My grandparents immigrated from Jamaica, built their life here. Today, I live in the J section with my husband and son. The city raised me, and now I'm raising my next generation here. Next slide, please. From June 13th to the 15th, we're hosting Breaking Border Baseball Tournament, a 3-day event right here in Brampton with 26 youth teams, 44 games across 5 city fields. We're not just Brampton Diamonds. We're not just using Brampton Diamonds. We're investing in them. We've already committed $16,215.10 in diamond rentals through our partner league running from May to September. This isn't a one-time ask. It's a long-term commitment to the city. Today, I'm respectfully requesting $4,055.63 in field fee relief just for a tournament weekend so we can continue to invest in the community-driven Youth First programming. Next slide, please. This event is bringing 1,000 to 1,500 visitors to Brampton, including 340-plus players. Their families, coaches, volunteers, umpires, media. Every single one of 26 teams are from outside of Brampton. Places like Bowmanville, Ajax, Hamilton, Ancaster, Mississauga, Toronto, and 2 teams flying in from the Dominican Republic. They've been staying in Brampton hotels. We've already booked a block in Quality Inn. Many are booking Airbnbs. They'll eat at local restaurants, fuel up, shop while they're here. Based on the event tourism benchmark used across Canada, a conservative estimate of $300 spent per family, plus projected local impact between $300,000 to $450,000 over just one weekend. This is real tourism revenue, driven by youth sports. Next slide, please. Breaking Borders was built with 2 Brampton moms who simply wanted more for our kids, more access, more opportunity, more inclusion. We didn't want to drive across the border just to find welcoming spaces for our youth baseball, so we decided to build it right here in Brampton. Our mission is simple. No athlete should be blocked with boundaries, whether geographic, culture, or finance. Brampton is a heart of this movement, and we're proud to represent the city as we grow. Next slide, please. The tournament is more than games on a diamond. It's community celebration. We created experience for Brampton residents, even if they're not baseball fans, free jumbo games, live photo booths, free giveaways, volunteer hours for Brampton high schools. We partner with major organizations to enrich the experience. MLSE Launchpad is bringing their youth development program from downtown Toronto to Brampton. Glow Zone, every athlete got a free entry pass. Aerosports donated MVP socks and activity pass. Uplands Photo Booth donated a live photo booth experience for every player. We've built real relationships and brought real values to the city. Next slide, please. Many of our players have never worn a real jersey or competed in a formal tournament before. Now they're playing in an international showcase right here in Brampton, alongside teams from across Ontario and Dominican Republic. We're spotlighting Brampton-based entrepreneurs, food trucks, vendors, local snack shacks will be on site, gaining exposure and income through their high-traffic families focused on this event. This is grassroots economic development in action. Next slide, please. Teams from Bowmanville, Hamilton, Ajax, Ancaster, Mississauga, Toronto, 2 international teams from Dominican Republic. None of these teams are from Brampton, and that's important. Hotels, restaurants, gas station, corner stores all benefit from this traffic. We choose to host here, not downtown Toronto, not Vaughan, not Mississauga, here, because we believe Brampton should be the home of the inclusive youth-focused sports. Next slide, please. Thank you, sorry. For many of these kids, it's just as about tournament. It's their first-time experience. They're building confidence, making friendship, and feeding pride to themselves and communities. And from Brampton youth, including volunteers, it's a chance to be a part of something bigger, a chance to see what possible when sport, culture, and opportunity come together. Next slide, please. Here's the real cost behind the scenes. Over $15,958.59 in total expenses, funded in registration, donations, and community partnership. That $4,055.63 we're requesting in fee relief is a small part, but will go a long way. Umpire pay, MVP awards, family programming, expanding youth development opportunity. Next slide, please. So in 2026, we already talked about Brampton. We already talked about bringing a world tour here in Brampton. 14 countries will be here, representing here in Brampton. That's hotel nights, that's tourism, that's culture exchange, and that's Brampton on the world stage. We believe the city is everything it takes to lead, and we're building something here that reflects on best on what Brampton can be. Thank you for your time, your consideration, and your support.
Thank you so much, Tiffany. I've got members of committee, Councillor Power and Mayor Brown. Councillor Power.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Tiffany, for your delegation, and thank you for wanting to give kids an opportunity to participate. Just to clarify, are you for-profit or non-for-profit?
We're a for-profit.
For-profit.
But we are working on to become a nonprofit. This is our very first year.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And when do you plan to be?
For next year, ready for 2026 when we bring back Breaking Borders here to Brampton and the World Tour tournament.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Mayor Brown.
Yeah, so on that note, that I think where Council Power was going is that we have an Advanced Brampton Fund that supports community events like this. As long as you're not-for-profit based in Brampton, you can apply and be eligible for support. We support hundreds of events. And so maybe it's just to refer this to staff to meet with you to see how you might be, you could work with Advance Brampton to see if you're eligible and meet those requirements.
Okay. All right, thank you so much.
Okay. So referral from Mayor Brown for staff to follow up with Tiffany regarding specifically the eligibility requirements for the Advanced Brampton Fund. All those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. Okay. The next item on the agenda is a delegation 6.6 from Kim O'Malley, Brampton resident, regarding residential parking on concrete landscaping. Kim O'Malley, are you here in the chamber today? Oh, Kim is online. And Kim, you have up to 5 minutes for your delegation. Kim, are you here? She is? Okay. Just give you a minute to sign on.
Kim O'Malley, can you please unmute your mic for your delegation? Kim O'Malley.
Kim O'Malley? Oh, there you are.
Hi, I'm
Perfect.
here. Sorry. I was having problems with the unmuting. Morning. I won't take up too much time, and I thank you, Mayor Brown and Council, for allowing me to have this opportunity to speak. I'm a resident of Ward 7. I live on Massey Street. I'm extremely frustrated with the amount of homes due to legal or illegal secondary dwellings that have multiple cars per home. These homes were originally built as single-family dwellings. They do not have the driveway structure to support or hold 4 to 6 cars. The amount of homes where these cars are parking on the paved walkway leading up to homes are becoming more and more frequent. And they're not homeowners, so they really have no say or care and concern how they're parking. They present a danger to any first responders that might need to gain access to the home with no safe available entry to it. I fail to understand how the bylaw officers are equipped to issue tickets for landscape area grass, but they can't issue tickets for hard landscape areas. Then it's deferred to property standards, which is at least a 2-year wait on driveway complaints for being too large. That's a whole subject on its own. The fact that we're backlogged is extremely frustrating. The fact that so many calls are closed because our bylaw department is extremely understaffed angers me as a taxpayer. What angers me more is that they can issue a ticket for a grassed landscape area, but they cannot issue a ticket for a paved landscape area. How is it that these cars can park on their walkway to the front of their home with absolutely no repercussions? As a homeowner, it's a safety concern to me, and it also has a issue for me on what it's doing to the property value of my home. I ask that looked at to allow the bylaw officers who are able to issue a ticket if you're parking on a grass landscape to be able to do the same on a concrete area. That is really what my main concern is. The bylaw itself is something different, but I'm really frustrated over this. I've sent numerous emails to both my counselors, who I know can only do so much, but this is a gray area that is being taken advantage of, and we need to have a more structure in place to ensure the safety and our neighborhood. Our neighborhood shouldn't be a free-for-all parking, and that's what it's become. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Kim, for your delegation. And I have Councillor Keenan, followed by Councillor Paleshi. Councillor Keenan.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Kim, for your delegation. This is something that we've continued to hear, and I know that I'm going to ask Bylaw to come up just to clarify, because those concrete walkways that are used as an extension of a driveway, I had brought up just a few council meetings ago, and it is a big concern for I think every area that this is happening in. I have had conversations with one of your councillors, Councillor Power, on this, and I know he's with us as much as making sure that the people that are doing this are getting tickets. I know my residents in downtown Brampton and in Peel Village are extremely upset by this. So I am going to ask staff for clarity, because we can ticket them if they are parking on what I call a walkway, which is a concrete extension to their driveway. But I will have our director, Rob Hicks, just give a bit of clarity on that, please.
Through the chair.
If you could, because sorry, I didn't mean to cut off. If you could, because I was just told by Catherine from bylaw standards that it's not their department, and then I had an actual bylaw officer who was at the particular home, and he said, I'm a new bylaw officer. I was told that we cannot ticket on this because it's considered paved landscape.
Thank you so much, Kim. I'm going to have Director Rob Hicks, he's the Director of Bylaw Enforcement, provide some clarification for you at this time.
Please. Thank you.
Through the chair, quick summary, everything she has stated is absolutely correct. Her assessment of where we are right today. Bylaw is continually looking for efficiencies, continually looking to improve how we deliver services. Today there is a report before council that will rectify the issue that she is speaking to. The mixed message is that it was with property standards prior, and that is a lengthier response time. We have now moved it over to the 24/7 bylaw cohort, but of course that cohort isn't aware of that change yet because it hasn't yet been adopted by council. So we're right in that crux. And just to be clear, so that we're comfortable with where we're going, if it's a clear sidewalk beside a driveway, let's call it near the curb, just at the lower end of the driveway, if it's a straight width there, that will still need to go to property standards, because we need to know if there's been a committee of adjustment allowance made to that. Where there's a walkway in front of, clearly delineating away from the driveway, like in front of the front door or at the side of the house or any grass area, anything that isn't clearly on the driveway, the 24/7 bylaw cohort will now be able to ticket for that right away. And of course, they'll be educated on that pending council approval of the report.
Great. Thank you so much for that clarification. So, and this is exactly what I was trying to do a few weeks ago, so I appreciate how quick staff has turned around to move this to the proper area where it can be executed quicker for tickets to, hopefully address people's behaviors and get it to change. So, in listening to that, I hope that, Kim, you have some clarity that it will be changed after we adopt the move here at council. So, thank you so much for that, and that's all from me, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Keenan and Director Rob Higgs. Councillor Paleshi.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Happy to support, ticketing vehicles that are parking on what we don't consider their parking area. What I think, and there's some kind of confusion, and I think we need to get to the bottom of it, and I know we have a meeting later today to discuss it, is we have some residents that are putting in some beautiful curbs. One we just visited almost looks like terrazzo. It's beautiful. But then she's getting dinged for extending the driveway. It's not an extension of the driveway. So there's some balance that we have to try and figure out. I don't know what that is, and I feel like the two are conflicting. But hopefully later today we'll be able to get to the bottom of it and hopefully have more clear lines on what people are allowed to do, what people aren't allowed to do. But specifically, especially in our area, being parked right up against the front door basically on a walkway is not something that we should be allowing. So that bylaw has our full support in going out and ticketing these vehicles for sure.
Through the chair, and that's why that one type is still going to property standards, which then gets referred to zoning so that it can have a proper assessment done, and then they make their assessment from there.
Thank you, Councillor Paleshi. Deputy Mayor Singh.
Director Higgs, if you just sorry, I don't want to interrupt you. I just want to understand when Councillor Keenan was asking questions. Could you just answer that again? I didn't fully get. So the 24 hours we could ticket, like, is that on the grass, concrete? Like, could you just go through exactly what this changes in your own words? Yeah.
Through the chair. Sorry, when I'm my terminology may be off. When I'm saying 24/7, I'm just referring to the frontline bylaw officers that are able to respond 24 hours, 7 days a week. So we've moved it from a Monday to Friday response to the area that can do it 24/7. It's not related to the offense itself. Yeah. And then as far as what isn't permissible, it is in the report.
I just want to hear it.
So basically, if it's the driveway, as we commonly understand, just in layperson, you can park on the driveway.
Yeah.
You can't park on any grass. You can't park on the portion that looks like a walkway. Anything that wouldn't commonly be referred to as the standard residential driveway. Anything that is ambiguous is the things that will still be sent to property standards and then to zoning for clarification.
Okay. So I'm good with that. The one thing I want to caution is, and you know this issue, and it's not related to other councillors except me, Councillor True, but that estate area, as you remember, we're trying to get the parking on one side maybe. We haven't resolved that issue. So in the summer you might see people have an event at their house in the estate area and they park on the grass just for that one specific event. Just to I guess flag that for you, we haven't resolved with if they can park on one side of the street or whatnot, so we might have that issue flare up again, just for that estate area, which I know you're well aware of. Just want to flag it for you and we can work with that offline. Thank you.
Parking in driveways. No further questions from members of council. And Kim, I hope that provided a little bit of clarity for you. There is report number 9.2.2 on the agenda today, which essentially will be dealing with the issues that you brought up in your delegation. So I have a motion moved by Councillor Keenan to receive the delegation, and at this time, can we bring the report forward as well? Item 9.2.2, staff report, proposed amendments to unauthorized parking bylaw. Do any members have any further questions regarding this report that deals with this delegation? Seeing none, report also moved by Councillor Keenan. All in favor, anyone opposed? That motion carries. So we've received the delegation. Thank you, Kim, as well as the report. No further delegations for today. We are now moving over to government relations matters, which was held by Councillor Paleshi, and we have Andreas from the... Not yet. Yes, it was deferred. It was referred to next week, yeah. No, it did not. It was held by Councillor Paleshi. So Andreas is here from Government Relations to give the presentation from Government Relations. Andreas, welcome.
Good morning. Good morning, members of council. I'll jump straight into the presentation. We can move to the next slide, please. This week we have a meeting of the Regional Council taking place on Thursday at 9:30 a.m. and we have identified several items for you to flag them for you. Next slide, please. First item we'd like to flag for you is item 8.2, 2024 Annual Income and Social Supports Update. This staff report provides Council with Income and Social Supports Division 2024 year-end update. The regional staff point out in the report a 47% surge in Ontario Works caseload across the region, as well as Ontario Works, as well as the fact that the Ontario Works rates for single individuals have not increased or changed since 2018. That results in increased pressures on individuals, putting them at risk of facing challenges related to affordability. Despite this fact, and despite no significant changes in funding, Region of Peel has been able to extend some of its supports, including mental health as well as supports for youth. Staff point out the need for coordinated advocacy for additional provincial funding as well as policy changes that would help address the unique needs of residents in Brampton as well as across the region. Next slide, please. Next item we wanted to flag for you is item 8.3, Development Charges Incentives Information Report. This for information report responds to a motion by Regional Council which asks staff to look at impacts of deferring the collection of all regional residential development charges to first occupancy permits issuance, as well as any impacts of 25 to 50% reduction to all regional residential development charges rates. Regional staff point out that deferral of residential DC collections would result in a reduction in DC collection upwards of $300 million per year. Also, discounting residential DC collections by 25 to 50% would result in a permanent loss of annual DC collections upwards of $150 million per year. City staff observed that there is a merit in exploring further DC deferral, but not at the expense of Brampton's ability to develop complete communities. Regional staff have prepared this information for illustrative purposes only, and a concept plan to understand the potential impact of delayed infrastructure investments. City staff have not been consulted for this concept plan. City staff observed that any future plans or exercises of this nature should be developed in consultation with city staff to ensure that city priorities are not compromised. Next slide, please. Next item we wanted to flag for you is item 9.1, the Green Municipal Fund Loan and Grant Agreement. This item is a direct result of city's successful funding application with the Green Municipal Fund that is being run by the Federation of Canadian Municipalities. Through this agreement, the City of Brampton will be receiving $2.5 million grant and $7.5 million in loans to help deliver zero carbon retrofits of Susan Fennell Sportplex. Under the Municipal Act 2001, any upper-tier municipalities may borrow, only upper-tier municipalities can borrow for long-term capital needs of the local municipalities. This report and its recommendations will enable the Region of Peel to enter into a loan and grant agreement with FCM on behalf of the city. Next slide, please. Moving on to provincial updates, we're flagging the fact that we're anticipating provincial budget to be tabled next Thursday, May the 15th. With limited information that's currently available, we understand that the province will be focusing on economy, supports for businesses and workers as we continue to deal with current trade policy and tariffs from the United States. City has provided an official pre-budget submission to the province, highlighting city's priorities, as well as identifying some of the opportunities for collaboration with the province. We're also mentioning the fact that city has been very proactive in terms of city's response to current trade and tariff policy from the United States. City staff will continue to monitor for any developments, and as we have done in the past, staff will work to analyze the budget once that is available, and will work closely with the department staff to identify any impacts to the city and any potential opportunities for collaboration. Next slide, please. Next, following the resumption of the legislature, the province has introduced a number of pieces of legislation, one being a proposed changes to strengthen the bail system to protect communities by keeping violent offenders and repeat offenders off the streets. Some of the proposed changes will result in strengthening collection process for forfeited bail, as well as introduce payment permanent incentives, intensive serious violent crime bail teams. A comprehensive review of the bail system is to make it more consequential and efficient. Staff will continue to track these changes and these proposed changes and will provide updates as information becomes available. Next slide, please. Next, we're flagging a reintroduced piece of legislation that was initially introduced in December of last year. This legislation is intended to provide municipalities and police forces with enhanced tools to respond to encampments and clean up parks as well as public spaces. It is important to point out that this legislation references funding that was previously committed in the amount of $75.5 million to further support homelessness prevention and provide people living in encampments with access to reasonable alternative accommodations. The Community Safety and Wellbeing Office continues to lead the coordination with local efforts to address encampments while actively supporting Region of Peel in development of Peel Encampment Policy Framework as well as joint protocols. It's important to keep in mind that to date the city has not yet received any funding from the committed provincial allocation. Staff will continue to monitor developments, and in context of the upcoming budget, we will be keeping an eye whether there's any additional funds that province may commit to this file. Next slide, please. Another piece of legislation that the province is introducing is the Protect Ontario Through Safe Streets and Stronger Communities Act. A notable piece here is a renewal of provincial anti-human trafficking strategy from 2025 to 2030 with commitment of $345 million over the same period. This funding is intended to help support survivors, raise awareness, as well as protect victims. It's an important piece of this initiative, as it is also an important advocacy point for the region. We will continue to watch these changes and provide any update as required. Next slide, please. Another piece of reintroduced legislation resulting from the recent provincial election is legislation that would, if passed, strengthen municipal governance and accountability. This piece of legislation intends to create a new standardized municipal code of conduct and an integrity commission inquiry process that would be consistent throughout the province. This piece of legislation does respond to a long-standing advocacy from AMO, and the government, with reintroduction of the legislation, did commit to further consultation with municipalities as well as AMO, committing that to the fact that any changes would come to force in 2026 for the new term of councils. If passed, the city's Integrity Commission would review the legislation to ensure that city is in compliance. Next slide, please. Moving on to federal updates, we have just had a federal election and the Prime Minister has held his first press availability, in the course of which we've learned a number of important milestones. One being that it is anticipated that the week of May 12th, we will learn of the makeup of the new federal cabinet. The Parliament will be recalled on Monday, May the 26th. The Prime Minister has also announced that the King and Queen will visit Canada May 26 to 27, with the King delivering the speech from the throne on May 27th. As a part of City's advocacy for the recent election, City has reached out to all the candidates to highlight all of the City's key priorities and highlight opportunities for collaboration. Staff will be closely watching for the throne speech and any opportunities for the City to engage with the federal government. Next slide, please. Moving on to AMO updates. AMO has provided a number of updates recently resulting from the new legislation that is being introduced. Of importance is also a new report in which AMO does outline projected or anticipated impacts from U.S. tariffs on municipal construction costs. This information is intended to provide council with guidance in terms of decision-making moving forward. We will be working with AMO and supporting AMO in their ongoing advocacy on all of these important pieces of legislation. Next slide, please. And the final slide in today's presentation speaks to FCM's priorities in terms of ongoing advocacy and engagement with the new federal government. FCM does point out that the continued advocacy will be taking place, particularly in the areas of modernized fiscal framework for municipal governments, supports and a need for stronger infrastructure, as well as a need to act quickly and effectively on housing construction, housing affordability, including meaningful dialogue and work on addressing homelessness and homelessness prevention. Staff are in continued contact with FCM, and we work jointly on advocacy and making sure that city priorities are included. And this concludes today's presentation.
Thank you so much, Andreas. I have a question from Councillor Palleschi.
Thanks, Andreas. I appreciate the fulsome report, government relations. As you were going through, I'm just kind of thinking of, what else is in there that we should know. What would I think be nice is for maybe if you can throw back to us, what are those 6 priorities that we're advocating to the province for during this budget? Would like to know what those are. I think you said 6 key priorities.
There are more than 6 in terms of provincial advocacy.
Okay. For this budget.
For this upcoming budget, our priorities focused on infrastructure, particularly need for transit funding. Also, an important point that we were making was to ensure that funding that was committed to the city in a lead up to a recent election, that is actually followed through. Okay. And as you will know, often a process can take time, and we have been stressing the fact that a city has very good collaboration and relationship with the province. Mm-hmm. So we also stress that any funding or commitments made to date by the province need to be followed through. We also advocated in terms of city's needs for healthcare funding and expanded services in the city. We've advocated in terms of our infrastructure needs and housing. Mm-hmm. So we've created, as you will know, a very wholesome documentation, which I'm happy to share with anyone.
Yes, please. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Of course.
Now I'm going to ask you to maybe step aside, give Commissioner Ganesh an opportunity to come up, and let's have a chat about development charges. And we can start by saying, in wards 2 and 6, we have more DCs coming in than every other part of the city of Brampton, the city of Mississauga, and the town of Caledon. So Steve, can you walk us through this, and maybe we can have a discussion on, how we're going to approach tomorrow at the region with this report coming?
Yeah, sure. Through you to Councillor Palleschi. So the report that Andre spoke to is an information report that regional staff put together that speaks to two potential development charge financial relief programs as previously discussed at Regional Council. The first is in regards to the deferral of the DC payment from building permit to occupancy permit. So typically we collect our DCs at the building permit stage, and there's been some discussion about deferring that to collection at the occupancy permit stage. The second speaks to a reduction of regional DCs by approximately 50%. Both of these initiatives have financial implications. For the deferral of the DC payments from building permit to occupancy permit, there is approximately $300 million that is forecasted to be collected at the region in 2025 and 2026 that would now be deferred to collect in 2030 because the occupancy permit comes after the building permit stage. This results in an impact on the regional property tax increasing from a range of about 0.5% to 0.16%, and a range on the regional utility of about 4.7% to 16%. The second option of a 50% reduction in regional DCs, 2 financial tools are discussed to address the DC revenue loss here. The first, the region funds the gap. And to fund that gap, it would require approximately 0.8 regional property tax increase and 23.5 utility rate increase at the region. If the region finances the gap, it would require 0.65 regional property tax increase and 2% utility rate increase and $300 million in additional tax utility supported debt issuance. So the short-term impact is softened, but the long-term impact to repay that debt increases. So one option to mitigate all of the financial impacts in these scenarios is if the feds and the province step in to fill that gap. And I know at Regional Council there has been some discussion about that. If, however, that does not happen and Regional Council chooses to move ahead with a reduction of regional DCs by 50%, Regional Council will then have to start looking at its regional capital program and deferring projects, road widenings, water, wastewater projects. And in the staff report that's presented before Regional Council tomorrow, regional staff have taken a stab at an illustrative concept of what projects could be deferred. And of note to Brampton, there are projects that impact Heritage Heights and Bram West, which could slow down approximately 30,000 housing units. City staff were not consulted in the development of this illustrative concept that's in the report before you tomorrow.
I was in a meeting with you.
But we were on the CFO, but not on the illustrative concept that's in there tomorrow. So we were consulted at high level on the report outline, but not in the illustrative concept, and that's the difference. So again, if that illustrative concept were to come to fruition, there's about 30,000 units that could be slowed down in Heritage Heights and Bram West in totality. So at a staff perspective, there's certainly merit in exploring development charge deferral, but certainly not at the expense of Brampton's ability to deliver complete communities. I believe, council in particular has been adamant about ensuring that we align to the budget the council has endorsed to put our fire halls, rec centers, and libraries. And we certainly don't want to sacrifice, in my opinion, growth in both our mature but newly established areas like Heritage Heights and Bram West. So because tomorrow's report is an information report, certainly it would be my recommendation that staff receive the report, but maybe direct regional staff to have further consultation with the local municipalities in future iterations.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Ganesh, for that very thorough update. I would recommend, in speaking with Deputy Mayor as well as the City Solicitor, that perhaps we bring a portion of this discussion in camera to discuss strategy, since it is happening tomorrow and there are other interests at play at the regional table, competing interests. So if we could maybe also bring this in camera, I look to the clerk, if we could bring this discussion item in camera as well.
Through the chair, we can do so if council wishes under 2392 sub K of the municipal act.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Make
So,
a two-thirds vote to add it to the closed session.
okay, and then I'll bring over to Councilor Medeiros and then Councilor Pelletier if you want to share more things in open session. So this is in regards to negotiations, I take it, correct? Okay, so to open the agenda, two-thirds, are we good to open the agenda? That carries, adding another closed session item as per City Solicitor. All those in favor? Any opposed? We will continue some in-camera discussion on this matter when the time comes. I'll now turn it over to Councilor Medeiros and then Councilor Pelletier for further open session discussion.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Commissioner Knight. Again, I don't know what's going to be discussed on camera, but I do agree kind of with your analysis. The one thing I hear from the industry, and I don't know if we have any indications, is that during provincial and federal elections, there was announcements of relief in terms of regarding housing. And I think what my impression or what I hear, and I could be off, I don't know, I don't speak to, probably many of you have better insight, is that the industry is just looking for some relief. And I know this is sort of a discussion, around DC, so I like the approach that we're open, but also there's some expectation, and we have a provincial budget coming and so on. So, in my mind, as just what's been reported, but have we an indication of what the feds or provincial governments might be doing, or have we been consulted? Any indication that might provide? Because I think this conversation would make sense within the context of once we know what the federal and provincial government actually are going to do. I think one was removing HST, the other one was relief of some DCs, some a provincial fund of some sort.
Through the chair, through to you, to Councillor Medeiros, I believe you're correct. There were a lot of announcements on sort of the campaign trail about HST relief for first-time home buyers on new homes. And then I understand that the province may be looking at the DC Act to see what can be done there, but I don't have any further details more than the announcements.
Thank you, Councillor Medeiros. Councillor Pelletier.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner, you mentioned that the cost of deferring DCs would cost us for the borrowing side of things and the interest, but we really don't know what that cost would be, right? It all depends on what we're planning on using the DCs for on a go forward. Would we or could we? And I assume finance has done some work on this. So what have they done to come to show us that, the potentials of the interest that we could be putting out because of a deferral, what would those be? I think it's important, and I don't want to ask that question in private because that should be a very public number.
Through the chair, through to you, to Councillor Pelletier, the regional staff have put forth cost of about $300 million in, I guess, debt carrying costs at a regional level, but I'll defer to the treasurer to see if he would like to speak to what that would translate to at a city level.
$300 million just to carry the cost of the debt?
Through the chair, that's correct, yeah.
Okay. Wow, it's a massive number. How do we build, well, we can't even build fire stations anymore with DCs, can we? Didn't the province pull that? And with the province talking about doing whatever they are going to be doing, the feds really didn't do anything with the removal of the federal excise tax, GST. I'm thinking fuel, sorry. In terms of anything below, 1 million? Or then they upped it to 1.2 million? Which in the housing market, that's not for you, Nash, it's just an off the cuff. But Nash, if you can speak to the debt carrying costs and potential risk and exposure we have specifically for the city of Brampton as well.
Sure. Through the chair, Councillor Pelletier, it seems that the number 300 million seems excessive. As Commissioner Ganesh mentioned, we haven't really gone through the calculations. We haven't been given the opportunity to review what they have put there and so on. So it's very hard to confirm where these numbers come from and what exactly do they represent. I think it's a good idea to connect with the staff at the region in order to validate those calculations. On our side, for the city, we're currently working on that. We had the workshop with the developers a couple of weeks ago, and we have been looking at that option because it came as one of those short-term possible outcomes that we could introduce for relief and so on. So we're currently looking at that. Those calculations. We currently receive around $90 million. The current recently level of DC revenues that we have been receiving over the past couple of years. So if we're deferring collection of those for a couple of years, there will be a carrying cost of around 4 to 5% of that number. That's my very rough on the spot calculation of this, and we're trying to validate that with the numbers.
I appreciate that, Nash. I really do, because it gives us something to think about, right? So, but I know we just received the report yesterday. Yesterday, day before?
Through the chair, through to Councillor Pelletier, we received it, I believe, on Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, from the region. So it didn't give.
Today's Wednesday.
Yeah, yes, I didn't get enough time. The weeks go very fast in planning.
We move quick here at the city of Brampton. Not that quick.
If I could.
Appreciate it. Yes.
Through the chair, through to you, Councillor Pelletier, you'll note in the regional staff report, the $300 million dollars deferred in 2025 and 2026 to be recovered in 2030. There's mention of also a principal and interest payment of $136 million. At this point in time, we're not sure if that 136 million is baked into the 300 or in addition to, and that's where the additional consultation with regional staff would certainly benefit us to better inform council.
More conversation in camera, but I'm thinking, and I hope we can get behind potentially giving our staff the ability to dig a little bit deeper in this tomorrow, not walk in there and, you know, maybe, hopefully we're all together and listen to what other members suggest, but maybe deferring it again is the best opportunity for our staff to, all three municipalities to work together to really truly see what this means for everyone. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Kaleshi. So we will have further discussion on that topic in camera later. Any further questions regarding the government relations presentation? Seeing none, motion from Councillor Keenan to receive the presentation. All in favor, anyone opposed, that carries. 7.2, a discussion regarding encampment protocol and funding was deferred until the next Committee of Council meeting on May the 21st, which brings us to Community Services section, and there are no items under there. Legislative Services, I believe we've already dealt with the staff report on new mobile licensing bylaw, which has now been referred to Council next week. And we've also dealt with 9.2.2 regarding unauthorized parking bylaw, also dealt with earlier, which brings us to questions from members of committee regarding legislative services. Any members have questions regarding legislative services? Seeing none, public question period on this section. Madam Clerk, any questions?
I have no questions online, Chair.
Okay, thank you. That brings us to economic development. I can hand it over to Councillor Tour, although there is nothing on the agenda. So moving on to corporate services. There is nothing on the agenda as the minutes for the Women's Advisory Committee was put into consent. Any questions from members of committee regarding corporate services? Any questions from the public on this area?
Through you, Chair, no questions online.
Okay, I'll now hand it over to Councillor Vicente for Public Works. Okay, there's nothing on the agenda for Public Works. Referred matters list was dealt with in consent. That brings us to public question period. Madam Clerk, any questions from the public regarding today's agenda?
Through you, Chair, no questions online.
Okay, that brings us now to closed session. We have two items for closed. Item 15.1, information update on concessions, a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board, and a position plan procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on or to be carried on by on behalf of the municipality or local board. And we also have an added item, Madam Clerk, as referred to by the city solicitor earlier.
We have item 15.2 regarding the staff update government relations matters, and this is pursuant to open meeting exception Section 239(2)K of the Municipal Act.
Okay, and that agenda item was added. Motion moved by Councillor Keenan to move into closed session on those two items. All in favor? Any opposed? That carries. Madam Clerk, how much time would you need to get into close? 10 minutes, so we'll go back into close at 11:15. I believe we have quorum now, and the time is, we have 1 more minute for 12:10.
Which would make it 12:09. Oh, that's me, sorry. Just the
Here we
ring,
go.
guys, not the
All right, in the continuing interest of transparency and open government, I will now ask the clerk to report any items for public session from today's closed session business.
Through you, Chair Santos. Item 15.1 was considered in closed session, and direction was given, including consideration of a motion in public session, as shown below. And would you like me to read that, or?
No, I can read that out. So we have a motion moved by Councillor Tour that staff be directed to proceed with the following, that staff be directed to proceed with a request for a proposal for the concession space at City Hall incorporating the survey results, and that staff be directed to report back regarding options for concessions and vending machines in city-owned recreation centers across the city in consultation with interested members of council. Moved by Councillor Tour. All those in favor? Any opposed? That motion carries. And the next item, Madam Clerk.
Through you, Chair, 15.2 was a matter discussed in closed session. No direction was given.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Our last item on the agenda is 16. Adjournment. Committee is scheduled to meet meet on Wednesday, May 21st at 9:30 a.m. Motion moved by Councillor Brar to adjourn today's meeting. All in favor? Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you very much. To staff, our meeting is adjourned. Have a great afternoon.